So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Speaking Cinema, serious movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast. I am your host. I'm joined by Bulldog Matt Fondacaro.
Woof.
And Kevin L. Dashhound Merritt. Terrible.
That's how my dachshund sound.
Ugh, man. Oh, you do have a dachshund.
Also, it's my girlfriend's dachshund.
I don't have a bulldog.
He
Pitbull, technically.
He
but
murs
it's
a
fine.
lot.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's a small detail.
We're just gonna. This will be the last episode ever. This week's episode, The Bitch is Back, to the 2003 assembly cut release of 1992's Alien 3. Directed by David Fincher, written by many people. If you are unfamiliar, Ripley continues to be stalked by a savage alien after her escape pod crashes on a prison planet. This is the third movie in the Alien franchise, the only one with a number so far. It is not the Alien 3 you may have seen and hated back in 1992, though. This version is referred to as what is called the Assembly Cut, which came out in the 2003 Alien Quadrology DVD box set. It takes alternate footage and entire subplots that were initially cut from the initial theatrical version, and supposedly is a very different movie. It's half an hour longer, bringing the cut to 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yikes. Alien 3 had many problems securing a director and a story, but was rushed into production to meet its release date. Directors Ridley Scott, who directed the first Alien, Rennie Harlin...
The director is David Fincher.
No, well, hold your horses, bro. Hold your horses, bro. So, directors Ridley Scott, who directed the first Alien, Rennie Harlin, a big action director who directed such movies as Die Hard 2.
And Cutthroat Island.
Don't sleep on Cutthroat Island. And Vincent Ward, who is an indie director, Map of the Human Heart, were all attached at one point, but eventually dropped out. So, you see where I was going with there? You jumped the gun, motherfucker.
I see.
William Gibson, seminal sci-fi author, Eric Reed, writer of Near Dark and The Hitcher, and David Twohy, which I'm sure I am saying that right, who created the Riddick franchise, all took a stab at the script, with David Fincher and Rex Pickett doing rewrites, and final credit going to producers Larry Ferguson, Walter Hill, and David Giler. According to legend, all of these guys' ideas were made into a Frankenstein's monster of a script that began production with no ending. David Fincher was brought in to direct Alien 3, and this is his first feature film, as he had previously been a music video director along with commercials. The production had a lot of studio interference. The story goes that that Fincher has disowned this movie, which is why the version we are going to watch is called the Assembly Cut, not the Director's Cut. But, in my limited insider knowledge, I know that he has approval on this thing, and approval on the video, and on the marketing materials. So, it's a mystery how I know that, but I do know that that's true. As of this recording, this movie is not available on Netflix or any other streaming service that I could find. It is available to rent and or buy on Amazon, Google, iTunes, and Vudu. Physical discs exist as well. You know where to get those.
Get that Blu-ray.
Do you recommend a Blu-ray, Matt?
Of course, Blu-ray is highly superior than everything in the world.
Correct. Oh, I agree. And
Even the Criterion Laserdisc. Okay, continue. I'm just going to put that out there for our audience.
I got the Alien Quadrilogy Blu-ray for $20, courtesy of Amazon.com, and I am very happy of that.
So you guys are both recommend. So basically, what I'm hearing here is you guys are both recommending.
Get that box set.
It doesn't
take,
despite the fact that half that box set sucks.
I spent $70 because I bought it when it was first came out. So I mean,
wait, hold on, time out.
Time can be tell with a fool.
Kevin, I think by the way, Kevin told us that money well spent. Matt, can you say the same?
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, let's get into it.
All right. I mean, it's like you can use Alien Resurrection as like a coaster if you want, but you know, the first three are definitely it's worth the money to get the first three and all the supplemental material.
And it's not a very big set, so it doesn't take up a ton of room on your shelf. It looks good on the shelf, and every movie is stacked with special features.
Save it for our furniture podcast, right, guy? All right, so we're talking Alien here. Talking, you could get all of the current created Alien movies on Blu-ray, along with Alien vs. Predator, Predator, and Prometheus. A lot of movies in this combined franchise. So let's get into, but we're going to focus on just the Alien movies for this thing. I think is that fair, guys?
Correct. I'm perfectly.
Predator will be another day.
Predator. By the way, Predator will be another fucking day. Definitely. So, what was your first Alien movie, you guys?
Mine was probably it was Alien. Yeah,
Alien. Singular.
Alien. Saw it on HBO when I was, I think, in 5th or 6th grade.
HBO, the place children go to watch Alien.
Yes. Also, Alien for me. My brother had the VHS box set.
I had that one
The
too.
VHS of Alien 1, 2, and 3 when it came out, and I remember watching Alien and scaring the bejesus out of me when I was a little kid.
So, my first Alien movie was Alien 3.
Really?
On fucking VHS. Rented it from Blockbuster. Watched it with my mom, my brother, and I believe my brother's friend. And I had a knowledge of I had a knowledge of Alien. We all played with the Alien toys. We played the Alien video games. It was one of those things as a kid. It was a franchise that you could touch the ancillary properties, but it was hard to get your hands on the actual ones being a child. And I remember being extremely disappointed with Alien 3. You did not get to see the alien very much. I didn't like how everyone looked the same. I did not understand the the undertones of this movie at all. And I was very disappointed. And I'll just end the story by saying, soon afterwards, I rented on VHS again Aliens, which was my second movie, and that's probably one of the best movies of all time.
For sure.
So we're kind of skirting around this, but what do you guys think about the Alien franchise? Like, what is that to you?
The Alien franchise.
Because to interrupt you and power talk over everyone. Before you even start, I mean, for me. Like I was saying, we played the Alien vs Predator side-scrolling video game,
which was awesome.
I had Alien 3 on the Sega
the Game Gear?
Sega Genesis, right?
No, the portable one.
The Game Gear.
Yeah, Game Gear. Yeah, I had Alien 3 on a Game Gear. I had the Alien toy. I had the blue ape alien. That if you squirt water out of its head.
Oh, I remember that.
And then my brother had the flying queen from the video game.
I remember that.
I mean,
And I had the Power Loader, which I believe I gave to one Matt Fondacaro
I still have it
for his 16th birthday.
I still have it. It is pretty badass. There was one, not to get on a tangent here, but going on a tangent, there was one where I think it was like an alien disguise, like a Marine was in an alien disguise costume.
Yes!
And when you watch the movies again, you're like, what?
No, yeah.
But when you're like 10, you're like, this shit's badass.
Yeah. Last thing. I also had the jet that had like a butterfly catcher thing in the back where an alien you put it into as if they got a specimen and it was like in it.
Also, they had those in the movies. The movie would be like 10 minutes long.
Yes. So for me, it was like there's lots of ancillary products and things to play with. Very familiar with the concepts and things that were not in the movie before seeing the movie. So, Kevin, what does this franchise mean to you?
This was really my first introduction to a big time horror movie, I thought, because I didn't really know a lot about it until I saw my brother's VHS of Alien, I feel like. And then like all the stuff you guys had, I knew about all that. But yeah, this was like the first real, like, okay, this movie is scary and I am not old enough to watch it kind of movie. So, and it kind of, what's funny about all these toys and stuff that's marketed to kids, it's kind of like RoboCop, is this horrendously violent movie with these very dark undertones, and they market it to, like, children, because it's sci-fi stuff, There's action figures. That's an interesting point.
I do feel like in the 90s, and I'm not really nostalgic for this, but in the 90s, I feel like, there was Terminator 2 toys. Was Last Action Hero R?
Yeah, it's rated R.
There's
PG-13.
Oh, is it? Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, you had toys for movies that were like adult movies, but children's toys.
Yeah.
And I remember Alien, Predator, and Terminator 2 were the big culprits for this, where you could, I just remember that very vividly, being like these movies became holy grail movies of like, I've played with these toys, now I need to see what this is actually about.
Exactly. And then Predator, also, same thing, Alien, a horrendously violent movie. Well, not, horrendous. I enjoy violence as much as anybody in movies, but...
Relatively
It was pretty grisly.
inappropriate for children.
Oh, yeah,
We
it's-
can all agree. Whenever we think about violence,
If you're old enough to play with an action figure, you should not be watching Predator, basically.
yeah.
The Alien franchise is it does hold a special place in my heart. That in the Star Wars franchise, where it's something you grew up on, it's something that you watched over and over and you loved. They're all great movies, save for the last 4 that came out.
You name them.
Alien Resurrection, Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator 2, Prometheus. I'm gonna call it Prometheus, and which I thought were all just sort of mediocre, whatever kind of movies. But the Alien franchise, to me, it's a rollicking good time of action, adventure, thrills, suspense,
Horror.
Yes, there's horror elements in it, and that's what it means to me. And it also, in a smaller way, it is the toy. I didn't grow up with the toys. I don't think my parents were too gung-ho about getting...
That is not my memory of our collective childhood.
I mean, well, a lot of the Star Wars toys, but I didn't really have a lot of...
I feel like we had some Alien toys in the mix.
You might have Alien toys, but there was a lot of... Everyone else had the toy. I never had them. But what it means to me is it is it's like a fun, great series of movies that never failed to disappoint.
To finish up my already power talking about this, was really big into the Alien comic books, which again as a child was way too young to be reading those, which was great though because it was awesome. It was that you had this contraband, and then I do remember, and not to call you out here from the car, but you and me entered an IGN contest. This might have been middle school. We entered an IGN contest that was recreate your favorite scenes from Alien and then submit them. And we did it with RC cars and Alien toys, and it looked like goddamn dog shit. But they did send us a care package, and I had an Alien vs. Predator. This is for Alien vs. Predator. The game came out on the PC, and I had an Alien vs. Predator shirt that I never wore, and an Alien vs. Predator hat that I never wore, and I think you got a bunch of other shit too. That
I got a copy of the game which I already owned, so it was pointless. And I think we got a copy of VHS copy of Alien Resurrection, which also pointless.
I don't know if Alien Resurrection had come out at that time. We might have gotten a copy of Alien 3.
No, because the game came out in 99, and then the movie came out in 97, so the VHS was already on the market. So,
Okay, yeah.
But if we got a DVD, that'd be even better, but they gave us a VHS, so it was garbage.
It's a sweet analog tapes, baby. All right. So is it? I don't know. I feel like we've jumped all over the place, but is it fair to say this is a beloved franchise to us, or no? I would say it's a beloved franchise to me.
I say beloved.
For sure.
I'll take the good with the bad.
Our rape sexual predator creature is a beloved creature monster in the pantheon of monsters
The world that all the movies create is a great world to explore.
that lived in sci-fi universe.
Lived in a sci-fi universe.
Well, and that takes me to my next question, because I would say, and maybe this will be met with controversy, that this series is generally fits into a sci-fi horror subgenre. That's and I feel like it is the king of that genre. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think it fits in that genre?
I agree with that. I feel if you even try to do a sci-fi horror movie, you immediately get compared to Alien or Aliens.
Right. I mean, the first one is. Yeah.
So wait, hold on, really quick. So you're saying Event Horizon would have been a great movie if Alien never existed?
If Alien never existed, Event Horizon would be a masterpiece.
Yeah, that would be Citizen Kane, Event Horizon, and then
whatever. Yeah.
In the pantheon of great movies.
Sci-fi horror, Matt. The question goes to you.
Sci-fi horror. Oh yeah. Pass to Kevin. I'll go back to it.
I said mine already.
You know what? So I mean, I think it is sci-fi horror. I think Alien and Aliens are the pinnacle of sci-fi horror. One being a haunted house movie in space, the other one being an action adventure movie against fighting monsters. I think those movies are undeniably great. But which brings us to Alien 3, which as I previously mentioned, I saw, and even as a child, I cannot forgive. I did not like this movie, the theatrical cut. I thought it was boring and lame and not good. What's your guys' take on not the assembly cut, but the regular theatrical cut?
The original theatrical cut.
Because if my memory serves, Matt, you are a little bit softer on this movie than most.
It's okay when you compare them to the first two. This is nothing like the other two, and it's not as good. It was still entertaining. It was still good movie to watch, even though it has its flaws. There's some parts that kind of cringe when you watch it again, but there's only a few of those parts. But otherwise, that the overall arc and the story of the characters, the setting which one the secondary characters and the kind of mythology behind them, it's still there, and it's still pretty decent to watch. And I'd still recommend the '92 cut, but this cut I think is far superior. Mm-hmm. So it makes it not as terrible.
So you like it, but you will admit that it's terrible. Moving
yes.
on.
I have an interesting perspective on it because I watched this after I became a David Fincher fan.
Okay, so here we go.
So David Fincher is one of my favorite filmmakers. I think his movies are great. And you watch this, and I mean, when you read about all the behind-the-scenes stuff, set up to fail from the start, basically. But you sort of see him trying his damnedest to save this movie, and you start to see him really develop a style early on that a lot of studio, filmmakers plucked from a studio just don't have in their first movie. Now, story-wise, it's all over the place. It's a mess. But I definitely like the ending of Ripley sacrificing herself.
Spoiler alert!
For the two people who have not seen Alien 3.
I think again, at the time, Alien, we were young when Alien was a thing, and I think, it went away for a long time. Relatively, suffered on through the Alien vs Predator movies and now into Prometheus, but it's been, a lot of years since we've had an Alien movie, you know what I mean? Correct. So I don't know about that, Matt.
I'm just saying, when she died at the end, it was the talk of the town, and I think no one did not know that, if that makes sense. Everyone knew it, that's what I'm saying. Everyone knew about that.
All right, well, that's fair. So, Kevin, you kind of touched on this, and this is one of my next questions, is, so you're a David Fincher fan, and that does influence you in this movie, perhaps more forgiving, because at least there's an interesting element to it, that you're seeing the genesis of David, I almost said David Lynch. Not David Lynch.
David Lyncher.
Also, if David Lynch directed a fucking Alien movie, dude,
it'd probably be pretty cool.
I would be there.
It would either be the best thing or the, like...
Or it would be very strange.
You're like, what?
It will be very strange. It could probably be great.
Yes.
Undoubtedly. But so you're a Fincher fan, so that kind of... There's an interest there, an extra layer. Matt, what do you think about David Fincher, and does David Fincher, being who he is, help or hurt this movie?
I think that him helming this thing, and I think that he gets a lot of flack for it, but he was trying his hardest to make this movie, and he has a very strong visual style because he was making music videos and commercials and very reputable ones.
Which,
so
if you go on YouTube and watch his stuff, they're
extraordinary.
Very strong visuals, very strong concepts, and this guy, he established that he had chops very early on in his career.
And a lot of people will center the flack on him. It's like, oh, it's a first-time director, like he doesn't know what he's doing. But really, it's the opposite. He knew what he was doing, and he was trying to do everything, but the studio didn't know what the fuck they were doing. But David Fincher he's a very strong, visionary type director. I enjoy his movies. Didn't see The Social Network, but Zodiac and Gone Girl were decent, and Fight Club and Seven were also pretty good. And I never saw The Game. I didn't know that one existed.
Worth watching.
Okay, it's worth watching.
Worth watching.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of those movies. But I wouldn't say I'm a David Fincher enthusiast. You know what I mean? Like I think he, as of this recording, his next project is reportedly going to be a remake of Strangers on a Train. That doesn't really have any appeal to me, and his name on that doesn't really add or subtract. I'm not really a fan of his specific. I'm not a enthusiast, and I think the way that you two are. And so, as such, I think this movie. I don't think that hurts this movie, and I don't think it helps this movie. I think, I think
it just makes it, whatever part of it, a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, it's going back and seeing the origin of this guy who's made such a name for himself, and yet he started with the studio disaster that is Alien 3.
Which we all can sort of agree on.
Yeah.
So my next thing here, and we're going to revisit this after we watch it, but do you think re-editing or like a director's cut, do you think something like that can save a movie? And do you think do you like that concept of a director's cut of saving a movie? Coming up, we're going to also do Kingdom of Heaven. Spoiler alert. Speaking of spoiler alerts, we're going to do a Kingdom of Heaven director's cut. But what do you think about that concept?
It absolutely can't save a movie. And I think Ridley Scott is, of course, the father of the director's cut and really showed like what it can do. You know, Blade Runner is the classic it is because of the director's cut. As we're going to discuss in a later podcast, Kingdom of Heaven director's cut, vastly superior to the original. I don't think it's a cure-all, though. Sometimes a movie is just bad from the start. Like, it's bad concept, bad script. And
So you don't think that Ishtar director's cut would save Ishtar?
Couldn't polish a turd.
You never know. But, yeah, it's...
Right.
You know, and actually, I'm going to pull another movie out of Ridley Scott's filmography, Robin Hood, which I don't think was saved by a director's cut.
Oh, interesting.
So.
Interesting. And at this point, I should say, last week, or last episode, we did Starry Eyes, which was my pick. This week, or this episode, not going to fix that. We're going to leave those in. Matt picked Alien 3 Assembly Cut.
Yes, I did.
And so it'd be interesting to see what your take on this question, as you did pick the assembly cut of a movie. So what do you think about the whole re-edit?
It you know, I don't want to do a cop-out answer, be like, oh, it varies from movie to movie. But here
you go.
But here we go. It does. Because there are movies that are not... Some of them don't even need to be re-edited or re-expanded. Like the Alien, when Ridley Scott revisited in 2003, he took out scenes of Alien and he put the Dallas being cocoon scene in it. And this was... And he even said, like, this isn't the...
This is the preferred version?
The preferred version. This is just a marketing ploy, or a marketing term, because they wanted to re-release it and they wanted to put something new.
They kind of rounded up all the directors and were like, "Oh, we're gonna do this big quadrilogy release. Let's all do these new cuts and stuff, and new features and everything."
And there's times where, you know, re-editing and expanding makes it better because you get a better feel for it. But you know, sometimes it's not necessary. But other times, because if it's just a matter of, oh, I just want to put more shit in, like Francis Coppola, I want to put more shit in my movie, you'll do that. But it's someone like James Cameron who's like, they wanted to edit down Aliens or The Abyss. Well, we're not talking about The Abyss because that was not anything good. Yeah. But with, you know, that's something where
Matt doesn't like The Abyss. Everyone,
it's all right.
Everyone on the forums,
not great.
Tear them apart.
But it's not bad. So you know, it can help when.
So what I'm getting from you is mixed emotions.
It is mixed emotions because it's not a cure-all. And it's not the worst thing in the world. It's, you know, because there's sometimes when you want to do something, but the powers that be say no, and then you have a chance to let people know your true vision. And there's other times where, oh, I just want to do this because for fuck's sake, and then they do it, and you're like, okay, it doesn't add anything. So yeah, mixed emotion, I would say.
I'd say I also have a bit of mixed emotions. I think ultimately though, it's about if they make a director's cut for something. It depends on how you look at the author of a movie. There's the auteur theory, right, that we all here know, but just to recap quickly, it's the idea that the director is the one true author of a movie, which is kind of controversial because, you know, a movie is something that's made by hundreds of people and everyone adds a little bit to it, and the director is the leader. So to say that it's that person's movie in its entirety is a bit misleading, but that's the auteur theory, is that's the director is the author of the movie and no one else is. Not the writer, not the cinematographer, not the editor, who arguably do a lot of critical things together to create a work. So, in some ways, I don't like it because I don't like the idea that this one person gets a second shot at something, but no one, you know what I mean? But no one else did. There's never a writer's cut of a movie. Like, we're gonna go back and reshoot the scenes that I wanted. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I don't really care as long as both versions are available. I don't. You know, as long as it's not like a Star Wars thing where they get rid of the older cut, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have the versions that I know available to me, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to live in a world where the only cut of Alien is Alien director's cut. I want the theatrical and the director's cut, you know what I mean?
Because as we discussed in the first episode, movies are a very personal experience.
Yes.
And it's like, that's the thing that you latch on to.
Yeah, and I do think that there's while there are people who create it, the people who view it does become part of us, you know what I mean, in a certain way. So, I do feel a sense of ownership, and that may be earned or legitimate or not, over things that I did not create. So, I don't know. When it's good, it's good. Like Donnie Darko director's cut, I think is inferior to Donnie Darko theatrical cut.
Both are garbage. Just kidding.
No. Own it.
This is truth.
Own it.
This is very much true.
I
Don't want to
am a
upset
fan.
those Donnie Darko fans.
I am a Donnie Darko fan. My letter writing campaign to you will begin momentarily.
I will take your hate mail.
Take my hate mail. Forums, tear them apart. What was the first thing that you got torn apart for? It was
Who knows?
this
Everything.
and so we don't have like a specific rapid fire, but I'm just gonna ask some either or questions. You know what? We'll call this rapid fire. Cue the music.
Theme music.
So, are you guys familiar with both versions of this film?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I have not seen the assembly cut ever until pretty soon.
10 minutes from now.
Sci-fi horror enthusiast? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mixed bag.
Totally. Event Horizon, like I said.
That movie.
Alien or Predator?
Oh, Alien.
Alien.
I'm gonna go Predator.
Why?
Especially Predator 2.
I just again, we'll save it for the Predator episode.
Okay.
But
Double feature.
double feature. Are you a fan of the Alien franchise? I think we all are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Save for, like the
We saw that
AVP.
But when we throw this at you, best to worst of all the Alien movies, rank them with Alien vs Predator and Prometheus.
Ooh.
You guys ready for this? Do you want me to go first?
I mean, I can go. I mean, I would obviously. It's,
Wait, hold on. How many of these have you not seen?
I have not seen AVP or AVP 2.
Also, Kev,
I
if
did not see
if you
AVP 2.
But I think that you can make a fair assessment of best or worst without seeing it, because I just think that you can do that.
okay, go ahead.
So it's gonna start with Alien, then Aliens.
Wait, this is best. Okay, best. To
Best or worst. So Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Prometheus, Alien Resurrection, AVP 2, and then AVP 1.
by a hair.
I'm going Alien, Aliens, Prometheus, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, getting hit by a car, AVP 2.
All right. I will clarify my statement by saying I have not seen AVP 2, and I believe I saw part of AVP 1 while getting my haircut.
Probably on FX.
So, yeah, on FX for sure. So take this with a grain of salt. Obviously, does it really matter? But no.
Yeah.
But okay. So Aliens, number 1, Aliens.
Curveball.
Number 2, Alien 2. Number 2, Alien.
Okay.
Alien Resurrection.
Ooh.
Prometheus, Alien 3, Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator.
Okay.
I can't say 2, so I can't rank that. Unranked.
Spoiler alert, you can put it at the end.
Yeah, the ones you don't care about can just be at the tail end, so it's all good.
Okay, so quick question. Do you think that the new Alien movie coming out, Neil Blomkamp, not rumored, confirmed to be director, if that movie ever does see the light of day, do you think it should ignore this film and Alien Resurrection, or just Alien Resurrection? And I will not accept an answer that includes Alien Resurrection.
I think no matter what, Neil Blomkamp might not be successful, no matter what it ignores or not. And
Oh, interesting.
That's top for
Kevin, not on the hype train.
Not on the hype train for Neil Blomkamp. But I think it needs to be, those stories need to be in his telling of it.
Both Alien vs. Predator. I'm sorry.
Those are beyond canon. That's just
Like I said,
in the
I'm
garbage
sorry. So Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection need to be in his canon.
I think they should be in his canon.
Interesting.
Okay.
So you ignored my declaration. I respect you for it.
Yes.
I will say that it should just ignore Alien Resurrection, because Alien 3 was, you still had a story there after
Interesting.
After Newt and Hicks and Ripley are flying in the Sulaco, and then the events of Alien 3 happen, and then it's another story telling that, and then it concludes pretty well the story arc of this character, and it's all done. Alien Resurrection just like an afterthought, like Sigourney Weaver wants to buy a condo in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and she's gonna get a shit ton of money for it.
Hey, she's entitled to that.
She can have whatever she wants. She's a great actress. Let her have it. It's fine. But it was just such an afterthought. It was so disconnected from the other three. The feel, the tone, everything about Alien Resurrection was so distant and didn't even felt it belonged in the same vein. It's almost like it's pretty much like this should have just been Firefly, which is essentially the basis of Firefly. The characters. Joss
Whedon wrote the script. For
and he based a lot of that's kind of like the prototype for Firefly. So
I'm back on board.
So I think if they would have called it any other thing, it would have been fine. Whatever, who cares? But since they attached Alien franchise to it and they added the cliches of Winona Ryder being a robot and a bunch of other goofy shit like a hybrid alien, like no, it was just real messy, tacked on crap.
This is interesting because you say they should include both. You say they should not include Alien Resurrection, and I'll say they shouldn't include either of them because both these fucking movies, to my recollection, are not good. Don't enjoy them, and also I think we all agree that the Alien vs Predator movies should not be in the canon as well.
Agreed.
So, right?
Oh yeah,
those were.
So I feel like if we're dumping the trash out, why don't we just take it all out? And I feel like these movies. Let's just do Alien. I think the collective hierarchy for the Alien and Predator series should be Alien, Aliens, Predator, Predator 2, Predators, Prometheus, and then whatever we're going to call this new Alien movie.
Yeah.
Alien Nightfall or whatever the fuck.
Aliens Rising.
Aliens Rising. The Dark Alien Rises. So,
Too Fast, Too Alien.
Too Fast.
I would pay good money to see that.
Fast and the Furious vs. Aliens? How dare you. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Come on, that's not even a question.
Yeah.
Pepsi is like, I don't know, the bastard stepchild that you kind of see every once in a while.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pepsi has bought.
I mean, I don't like Pepsi, but I don't know what you're talking about.
I recently went to Vegas, and Pepsi has bought and sold that town. Every single restaurant has Pepsi in it. It's kind of.
They had a Coke factory in
amazing.
Vegas too. I don't know what happened to that.
I
guess they
guarantee
weren't strong enough for that one.
Pepsi probably carpet bombed that thing when they bought Vegas.
To sell their mediocre soda, Sierra Mist.
This is
like
the backdoor pilot to our Soda podcast.
Yeah, save it for the Soda podcast.
So
right.
Furniture Podcast, Soda Podcast.
That's our going, and then other secret projects we can't get into here. But for now, we'll leave these projects where they lie. Our Furniture Podcast and our Soda podcast, and we'll get into Alien 3 Assembly Cut 2003 of the 1992 Aliens 3.
Here we go.
All right, so we're back. Alien 3. Seamless.
It was a doozy.
So we've all seen this movie.
Yep.
So how'd you guys see it?
I watched it on Blu-ray with my Adrian Quat Alien Anthology set.
Yeah, Anthology, not Quadrology.
Yeah, they changed the name
I hate that.
to Anthology for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's probably a good marketing decision.
I think so.
Well, what's a quadro?
So you watched it on Blu-ray?
Watched it on Blu-ray.
I also watched it on Blu-ray. I borrowed your copy if we all remember what happened last week.
Yes, I watched it on Blu-ray too. Alien Anthology. Best investment.
Okay, all right. Also, not to talk shit here, but I really didn't like how that box set. I found it very confusing how that box set was laid out. But whatever. That's save it for our box set podcast.
Fox Marketing podcast.
TBD. Okay, so what do we think? Okay, well, actually, does anyone want to say what this movie's about? Do you want to give it a summary here, or
what's it about, or what's it about?
well, what do we want to talk about? Anything?
I mean, on the simplest term, it's.
Do we want to go over the plot of this movie, or no?
I mean, very, very succinctly.
Go.
Ripley crash lands on a prison planet and is at odds with the prisoners and the warden, and there's also an alien on board, and there's a
she's really at odds with that alien.
Well, the alien comes in the form of actually in the assembly cut it's the ox, not the dog,
which is what we're talking about.
Yep.
Yes, I'm just clarifying. And then so there's an alien on the loose after it bursts free, and there's also the imminent threat of an alien inside. Whether they suspect either Newt or further find out it's Ripley. And now she's dealing with those demons of that. And then also the company's aware of what's happening and they're coming to try to rescue the alien. And then she jumps off Terminator 2 style into the lava.
Spoiler alert. So what do we think, guys? Who you guys want? You want to start? Kel?
This is my first time watching the assembly cut. I'd always
Really?
seen the theatrical cut. So
I believe we went over this. To the listener, it would be minutes ago, but to us, it's been maybe a little bit longer than that. Go
I
ahead.
can't remember if I mentioned it. What? I mean, we're professional. I mean, so yeah, this is the first time watching the assembly cut. So really seeing the big changes that they made from it. I think it makes for a better movie overall, but still has a lot of fundamental issues.
Interesting.
So.
Matt?
Yeah, I saw the assembly cut when it first came out in 2003 at the quadrology set.
Boo.
Stupid name. Glad they changed it. And to be honest, I enjoyed the theatrical cut when I was younger. I thought it was, it's fun. Like it was a great music, great performances. I liked a lot about it. And then I can see why it doesn't live up to the expectation of Alien and Aliens. But watching the assembly cut, it was just vastly better because you have more information about who Clemens is and his kind of backstory. You get
Clemens, the doctor,
the disgraced doctor, and you get Gallic, the crazy prisoner, and you get more of a story with him.
Gets way more to do.
Yeah, instead of just disappearing halfway through the movie, because they cut out the whole thing where they catch the alien and block into the containment center, and then it gets freed again. They cut that out completely, and I just thought it was vastly better. I enjoy it. I think that it does bookend the series pretty well. Obviously executed to the best that they could do with all the problems they had, but I enjoy it. I recommend it. I stand by it.
So, I believe what I said either minutes or weeks ago, depending on who's listening, was that I did not like that Alien 3 theatrical cut. And I went into this movie fully expecting to hate it. But I fucking liked this movie a goddamn lot.
Really?
And I found it, for a movie about sexual rapists who are the... sexual rapists. For a movie about sexual predators who are the protagonists, I really found this movie to be charming in a very bizarre way. Like, I thought it was funny. I thought the scary parts were scary. I thought there's really good mysteries in this movie. Like why is this who is this doctor? What's going on here? Why is Ripley, what's going on with Ripley? She seems sick. Like, I fucking bought this movie hook, line, and sinker, and it felt very well put together. Like, I kind of went into this expecting it to be a mess, like a GD mess. You know what I mean? Like, just not enough coverage, just your things covered up in ADR, just your typical messy bullshit. But I expected it to be a real Spider-Man 2. But it was
Spider-Man 2.
Not Sam Raimi's one, the other one. The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah. Gotta be specific.
Let me.
People like that Spider-Man 2.
I will hate on Sam Raimi for Spider-Man 3. Save it for another podcast. I thought it was really well shot. I fucking loved it. Like, I'm like, this is a great movie. And everything that I feel like the theatrical cut fails in, of being too nihilistic and all the killing people off screen that we knew, I was like, I'm totally in. This makes sense to me. I was stoked on this movie.
All right.
I like this movie. I was wondering, we were going to talk about it. Matt picked this movie. I was like, okay, I'll do it because we have to. but now I would watch this movie again just for funsies.
Really?
Yeah, I like it.
So
I loved it. I don't think this movie's a mess. I think this movie is very well executed.
Would you revise? We talked about in the first segment where we put all the Alien movies like chronologically and like which ones we think are which ones we like the most and least. Does Alien 3 make a leap for you on that list?
Even though it was minutes ago, I don't remember exactly what I said. I believe it went Aliens, Alien 2, Prometheus, Alien 3, Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator. Now it goes Aliens, Alien 3, Prometheus, Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator. And now I don't know what to think about this fucking upcoming new Fox Alien with the guy who did District 9. Neil Blomkamp. Shout out. I don't know what to think because I kind of like this movie and I think that and we'll get into I have a comment on that in a different kind of comment on that in a minute, but I feel like this is a good movie and a good ending to also Alien Resurrection,
that's off.
That's way down. It's like, to me, the three movies make a really good trilogy now. Alien Resurrection still a goddamn mess, and yeah, I don't know. Now, and I feel like you can't ignore this one.
It really clicked for you.
I'm like, I found myself just like, I think in my notes, like, I was like, this is good, ... about 20 minutes in. And then later I was like, making up to myself, like, I like this. Like, no apologies.
That's good.
So do you look at it now because you know who David Fincher is, you know his style, you know what he's all about? Did that have an effect on you when you watched it?
No. Although I did... It did feel like someone. So the when you bring in a music video director guy or whatever, I think there's a certain expectation, for better or for worse, of it's going to be very stylishly shot. Mm-hmm. And I did feel like this is very stylishly shot. I feel like the camera panned a lot. I feel like there was really good camera moves. I feel like it felt very deliberate and very like tactfully a lot of visual storytelling. Mm-hmm. Which again, with messy movies, you don't get visual storytelling. You just get shots.
A lot of low angles. So
Although, I'll save it for nitpicks, but the fucking fisheye first person view of that alien shot was that scene was like 3 minutes too long.
Yeah, it's some dodgy special effects.
I've got stuff to talk about for that.
Yeah.
Too,
so do we want? Is there? I mean, so yeah. So long story short, I'm fucking in love with this movie. It's crazy.
You know, you bring up about Neil Blomkamp's new Alien, how it's going to kind of try to erase continuity, and you know, I guess what they're going to try to do is pick up where aliens left off. The
second one.
The second one. But
although later he said that he's not going to do that.
Okay, but
so I don't know how.
Just think about this.
Conflicting reports.
Think about this. Do you think that Alien 3 was all Ripley's dream?
No.
Okay. You don't think that when you have her in the opening shot where she's in her cryotube and she's kind of looks like she's having nightmares and night terrors.
So yeah,
then she crash lands on the planet, and like that is her nightmare, where she has nightmares of losing any semblance of family, nightmares of this alien, and this nightmares of rape with the prisoners and with the alien, nightmare of becoming the alien. I think there's a lot of nightmare elements. So
when did she become the alien?
Well, when she's impregnated with the alien.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I'm not saying that this is something that like, they thought out. This is purely just
Matt being a pumpkin.
Critical thinking, like, but just like an alternative to what this reality is. I don't know.
So to contextualize, in the beginning, the opening credits are black screen with white text, director, producer, blah blah blah, and intercut between that are shots of like fire on a spaceship, a screen where it's like errors. Bunch of like alien fingers, like of the facehugger, Ripley in her little cryo tube, the glass cracking, so it'll be like glass cracking, directed by David Fincher, then cut to some fire, then we cut to produced by so and so, then cut back to the escape pod coming out of the ship, etc., etc. So your interpretation of that is that is all her nightmare, not reality.
Right. So she's having these nightmares of everything that she's gone through, where she does, because in the previous movie she lost her daughter, but she gained another daughter. So she's having nightmares that she might
lose her daughter.
Hicks serving as sort of a surrogate father / husband,
Totally. I do think that's relevant in Alien 2.
And then, when you're on the planet, you have a very surreal kind of planet of prisoners, and then, it also and then her grappling with this nightmare where she has to kill herself in order to prevent all this shit. I don't know.
I think that's interesting. I think it's an interesting concept. I don't think that there's anything. I get how you can infer that from the beginning. I don't think there's anything at the end that would tell you that that's what's happening. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it ends on a shot that would have you believe that she's
right. I'm under the impression.
Although if I'm Neil Blomkamp, that's gonna be my fucking explanation for this movie.
I'm just saying, take this morning.
I could buy that theory if it was all from her point of view.
But there's lots of shots without her in it.
There's lots of stories without her, lots of characters where it's just scenes between them and she's not involved in it. And if it's her nightmare, I feel like she'd be present for everything. So that's... And then, like, after she dies, there's things that happen after that. And so... like her nightmare would end with her dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
then waking up, yeah.
Yeah, but then you get the Wayland people, like their point of view of her, like falling into the lava and all that. So,
also, who's the guy who plays the doctor?
Charles.
the great Charles Dance.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Last Action Hero in a couple
He
episodes
was
here.
busy. He was busy that year.
But god damn it, is he good in this movie?
Yes. Plays the great Tywin Lannister on Game of Thrones.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he does.
Oh, wow. I should watch that
for
show.
All you viewers out there who watch Game of Thrones, Tywin Lannister is in Alien 3 and our upcoming episode of Last Action Hero.
Great actor.
Well, that's a great triple feature. Alien 3, Last Action Hero, all seasons of Game of Thrones.
So something that you brought up earlier was that all the characters, since they all have shaved heads, they all kind of look the same.
Which is my memory of it as whenever this came out on VHS and however old I was then. Let's just say middle school. Because I'm not going to sit here and figure out what year that was and whatever. Although, maybe I already did that. But yeah, that's my memory of it.
Were they more distinguishable now?
Yes, totally. Also, the dude, like, some of them were funny. Like when they're saying, when those two guys are like the black guy and the white guy are like, we don't want to go with Golik. That whole thing was funny. Like Dylan's response to them was funny. Golik's response to that was funny. I found like all that to be charming. Also, the dude who has the cross on his forehead tattoo. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, kind of, you see the seeds of David Fincher's kind of dark humor that are present in almost all of his movies.
Right.
So.
Right. Exactly. Well, I'm saying like he did Seven and stuff, right?
Seven?
Yeah. So like that, like Seven is the same way, where there's like it's a super dark movie, but then like the jokes are super funny, and maybe just in that dichotomy of like super dark to super funny. I found the same thing here, where it's just like this doesn't feel fucking messy. This feels like whatever. You know what I mean?
You know, I watched all the special features too that are on the Blu-ray for this, and all the actors loved David Fincher. Like they thought he was great to work for. Gave him a lot of room to do what they wanted to do, and like so the studio was really what is kind of all that hampered this movie and the constant script rewrites.
In that documentary on the disc, it really is a stand-up of Fox's management at the time. Ironically, seeing how this is a Fox-approved product, but I guess they're not afraid of the truth. But
well, the quadrilogy, they edited out a lot of stuff of the documentary that was on the disc.
Oh, really?
So in the Blu-ray version, they restored a lot of. So when you watch the Blu-ray version of the documentary, you get more on-set, not interviews, but candid moments with Fincher where he's openly mocking and giving out his utter disdain for the studio.
Like he grabs the boom mic and he goes, because the studio is run by morons.
Yeah.
and that's on the disc that you purchased by the company.
Yeah, well, times have changed and everyone in Hollywood's smart now, so.
Smarter.
Yikes. Kev?
Let's see. I'm going to go to my notes here and look at some things.
Matt, you got anything while Kev's looking at his notes? I'm kind of, all of my notes are just, I like this movie. I got nothing to, it's weird. Like, I'm just like, yeah, dude, fucking, then the ox gets impregnated by the facehugger. Also, I love that scene. And then,
better than the dog?
Way better than a dog.
Yeah, I remember the dog thing being hella dumb.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because you have a tiny dog and all of a sudden you have a full-grown chestburster coming out, or not, well, it's not even a chestburster, it's a full-grown...
Well, the thing is, the fucking thing died. Like, the alien embryo kills it makes sense, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, if an ox dies on an alien planet that's infested with fucking bugs and shit, like, you just be like, yeah, this fucking thing just died. Like, we're not gonna ask any questions. But if your dog that lives indoors dies, it's a dog, you're gonna be like, hey, what's going on with this dog?
Exactly.
Instead, I remember in the original version, it was just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I guess this dog's dead.
Well, and they kind of introduced the oxes as like they use them as a way to like pull Ripley's ship out, but they use them in their day-to-day operations. So.
Yeah, because in the original they were using a crane, but in this version they were just
using
so giving you more of an impression. Nothing works in this world.
Well, I want to talk about that because Alien always kind of exists in that used universe, not like Star Wars, but kind of like Star Wars, lived in universe where like the armors in Aliens, the armor's all used in Alien,
blue collar future.
Yeah. And I loved how how this movie feels so comprehensive and it's so fully formed. It's like everything on this planet this planet's been abandoned. These guys are just taking care of this facility that was probably already run down when they were working at it. Everything doesn't work. They talk about everything doesn't work. In that one scene where the two guys go out with Golik and they first encounter the alien kills them. Like they're lighting candles so that they make themselves. They make candles themselves and they're lighting the candles like dropping breadcrumbs so they can get back. You know what I mean? Like that's so ingenious. Like in a world on a planet where you don't have the resources to fix anything, they find out this. It feels so lived in. It feels such like a big world. And you know what I mean? Like I'm like, God damn, that's brilliant. You know what I mean? Like, that's great writing. And great, and then it's executed even better. Also, I like how in this movie when it gets violent, it gets super violent. Like when the alien fucking slashes your head, like it just explodes in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Satisfying. Satisfying.
Mm.
All right, I'm gonna go with my biggest nitpick in this movie, though.
Are we on to
Is this a 30-second nitpick or something you want to talk about?
This is something I want to talk about.
All right, let's get into this.
Let's not call it
fucking.
nitpick.
This is about to get heavy. Maybe.
This is about the alien itself.
The creature design?
The creature design itself.
And the special effects?
And the special effects.
They were really dodgy.
It's the biggest issue they have in this is the size of the alien, I think. And it's most glaring in the shot when they're in the hospital, doctor gets killed, and the alien goes to Ripley. In the shot where it's walking towards it, it looks like it's a small little dog kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And the shot where it comes up that they use in the trailer and is a really famous shot where they have the practical head, it looks monstrously huge.
Right.
Which it should be. I feel like the alien is supposed to be like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
And this big thing. But the proportions they throughout the movie are just very dodgy.
So I have to interrupt for a sec, because it goes back to the thing where I think there was a theory that I don't know if H.R. Giger had it or some writer had it, but where the alien, the facehugger comes onto you, it implants itself into your stomach. It takes on the form and shape of
the creature.
Yeah. So I guess when it comes from an animal, it's just weird because it was a dog, now it's an ox, and ox is actually much bigger than a human, so there's a little weird continuity, but I mean, do you buy it?
It's an interesting point, because perhaps that could be a because there's test footage, I remember seeing test footage of a dog covered in alien makeup, right, and then when in the version that we all saw, when the alien comes out of the ox, is a mixture of CG and practical effects.
It's a rod puppet.
Yeah.
So, which I think David Fincher picked up from his time working on Return of the Jedi.
Oh, interesting.
Because in the speeder chase in Return of the Jedi, they use rod puppets for some of the long shots. So like when the speeders are kind of dodging left and right.
Interesting.
So, and he was a camera assistant on that movie. So I think that's where he got the idea to do it that way. But if you watch the special features, it's this very elaborate rod puppet. Like it took 5 or 6 people to run it.
Right. So perhaps. So I guess you don't like, basically when the whole movie's finished, you don't like how that's inconsistent. But are we thinking that is a result of this, presumably the studio asking him to change it from ox alien to a dog alien, and then when you shoot all the footage, right? Because you shoot a movie out of order. When you cut it all together, it's like half the time it's dog and half the time it's ox.
Yeah, and then. But then when it's a practical alien, it looks almost more humanoid, though, because there was a guy in the suit.
Right.
But I did make a note, though, whenever it is the practical alien, and the alien, I think it's the best one in the series.
Really?
Best made practical alien.
Interesting.
Because it has full lip function, and it has just the way it's designed. It has more detail than in the first one, but it has more of that. It's almost a little more menacing than the ones in Aliens, and it's just extremely well done practical alien body and prop, and I thought they did a very good job in that, which makes the rod puppet just look that much more glaring, I think.
The rod puppet was pretty bad, because, they're still using old techniques. They could have, I don't know, the CG, I think at that time their budget, I think they couldn't even look into doing like CG.
Yeah.
For this movie?
For this movie.
There's definitely some shitty CG in this movie. When the alien's running on the roof, that looks fucking awful. Love this movie. That looks fucking awful.
Well, there's only actually one computer generated shot, and that's the when the alien's head starts crackling when it gets hit with the water.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
That's the only, you'll see crackling in the alien's skull.
Only CG.
Really?
Everything else is done.
It was rod puppet on a blue screen.
When you see that rod puppet on the blue screen, then when it's on the roof or whatever, that effect, however they rotoed it in, looks like shit.
Anytime
the color looks wow.
It sticks out like a sore thumb every time that thing is on screen.
Also, what doesn't stick out like a sore thumb is the fucking sets in this movie, which are amazing.
Fantastic.
That feels like a real place. That feels like this is some bizarro factory in like Iceland or some shit that they just found, and no one's used it. No one's been in there for fucking 50 years, and they just shot a movie in it.
I believe that was set number 3 that they built.
Yep.
After
$9 million later, here we go.
Oh,
yeah, but whatever, dude. listen, if those first two sets weren't to snuff, this third one fucking knocks it out of the park.
It was great.
It feels like it feels real. Like
That was
I'm like,
probably after director number 2 or 3 that they
Yeah.
went
After
for.
Rennie Harlan and Vincent Ward, they're like,
Yeah.
fuck this shit.
yeah,
But yeah,
get rid of all this wood shit.
End product, fantastic sets. They look huge. They look lived in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're made out of wood and foam, but it looks like just hard metal
Mm-hmm.
just everywhere in it. It's great set design.
All right. Anything? You guys got anything else for this?
Nude autopsy. That was gross.
I thought it wasn't as gross as that because when they first, I'm glad you brought this up. When they first go into the ship, whatever the escape pod or whatever, you see like someone's head. It's like a past and present kind of editing thing, right? Where they're like Newt, age approximately 10, deceased. Hicks, age approximately whatever, deceased, right? And when they show Newt, the next shot they show is of a skull that's like completely destroyed.
That's supposed to be Hicks, right?
And I think it is supposed to be Hicks, but the way it's shot, it's like, that's Newt. That's how I got the feeling of it, or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm like, oh shit, this is that little girl's exploded head. And then later it's like, no, she's intact. It was weird when they were cutting her open, but I expected that to be a little bit more visceral, and I feel like they held back on it.
Oh, they cut out most of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said in test screenings they had a much more gruesome autopsy scene, and like even the director and producers were like, "This is disgusting."
Also, Sigourney Weaver, might I add, for someone who did not want to be a part of this franchise anymore, from the behind the scenes stuff, she really knocks it out of the park, especially in that scene where that is you could it looks like that is tearing her apart watching this autopsy go down, but she has to see it. She has to find out if she's been impregnated with the alien. But yeah, she really does bring it in this movie, and it's no short order. You know what I mean? Shaved head, fucking a bunch of dudes, being a badass, but at the same time being totally victimized by the alien and its allusions to sexual predation and such. Really good.
Great, she did fine work.
And Dylan was great too. The acting across in this whole movie is fucking great.
My only
This
point
movie
of contention
is great.
is that they killed off most of the interesting and the characters that you actually get to know and like Clemens, the warden. I love the warden. It's such a great performance. He's just
Such a douche.
such a douche, but he's also got an undercurrent of sort of this tragedy too, which is kind of interesting. Golic, and then at the end of the movie, you have all these people who are just. They end up starting to look the same. They're not interesting at all, which kind of bugged me. That they should have killed off the.
I mean, that's kind of a function of horror, though, right? You create characters that people love, and the tragedy is their death.
Right, and then and the only person who actually survived was the one bald guy with the gold tooth, who's hilarious.
Coward.
Yeah.
Like with the running with the scissors. He's like, don't fucking run with the scissors. Like just great moments of humor, but otherwise, yeah, fucking acting phenomenal in this movie. Just.
So a few notes I have.
Look at all these notes.
You know, I got notes, homies. Got notes. The Bishop robot, another great practical effect.
Yeah, that thing
She
looked,
turns Bishop.
that looked like a fucked up robot.
Yeah,
you know what I
that
mean?
thing was cool.
Like, that looked believable.
Yeah, and again, keeping with the aesthetic of like they have this white viscous fluid in them. That's like they're these weird organic machines, and it's just they did a really good job with that. So, another kind of bigger nitpick I had in the final. This is more nitpick.
Oh, save it for the nitpicks. Save it for the nitpicks then.
All right. No chest burst in the assembly version when she goes to kill herself.
I like that better.
You like it when it doesn't go better.
Yeah. Because one, if something's bursting out of you... there's something that bugs me about a lot of movies where people... And it's very cinematic and it's very emotionally true in storytelling where, like, someone gets betrayed by someone and gets stabbed or something and then they don't cry out in pain. They're just shocked or whatever. And at this point, she's come to terms with her own death. So in the original cut, the alien bursts out of her chest, so she just gently kind of grasps it like you grasp a hose and hold on to it as she goes into the fire. And I feel like this just makes more sense, where it's like it doesn't need to be so literal as this thing's about to be born. It's the overall threat of the idea that if this evil company gets their hands on this thing, they'll do bad things with it. So, and we have enough, we know it's in her, that's not in doubt. So we don't need to jump out of her at the last second. I like that better. Also, I had an Alien 3 comic book. And that scene was in it. I remember I remember they give the alien a speech bubble when she grabs it.
No, they did.
What's it say?
So it's like, so the alien, so she's falling back, and the alien bursts out of her chest. So that's one panel, and there's like red text that's like blech. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And then then the next shot is her grabbing it, and like the alien looks a bit twisted up, and it has a little speech bubble, and it's like, ugh. and then she falls in the fire, dude. This is at my house in my old room in the closet somewhere. I want to frame that, and put it on my wall.
That's pretty great.
Very nice.
And I can picture it.
Oh god.
All right, that was my last big point.
Okay, do you want to get into nitpicks and then some Q&As and we'll wrap this thing up?
That was good.
Yeah.
All right. So I got 60 seconds on the clock. Let me get my clock out. And hold on. Stall for time. Okay, so this is our nitpicks. So if you want to say them, go now.
Okay. Guy putting on goggles before he's gonna rape Ripley, kind of goofy.
Too much first-person view of Alien.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Geography of the maze not well defined.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah. Let's see.
She makes a reference to how the alien she's like, I don't remember my life before you. But like in her life, I know she's been in cryogenic sleep. This has been like 3 weeks.
Since Aliens, yeah.
Since Alien 1. So it's like...
Aliens, not Alien 1.
We'll revisit
Okay.
this. Go. Anything else?
That last effect shot when she falls in the lava.
Yeah, it's really bad.
it's real bad.
Yeah, terrible.
Bunk as hell.
Also, rape scene, Shitty's 90 metal. I don't know what vibe we're going for here.
It was pretty bad.
It was like...
The one bad moment in the score.
Yeah, it's like a fucking Fast and Furious kind of shit. That didn't make any sense to me. 10 seconds. Kevin?
That was my last one.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wait this out. 3, 2, 1. All right. So let's just revisit this real quick. The timeline in Alien, right? So in Alien takes place over the course of, I'm going to say like 1 or 2 days, right?
More or less.
It's just...
It's a short time frame.
Right, it's Alien,
Yeah.
right? And she goes to cryogenic sleep and wakes up. So that's as if no time to her has passed, right?
Right.
So then Aliens takes place over the course of like 3 or 4 days again.
I'm gonna go ahead and say probably inside of a week. I mean,
Sure.
but there's 57 years between Alien and Alien.
But that, relative to her though, she didn't live those 57 years. She went to sleep and woke up 57 years later. So Alien was a week, Aliens was a week, and Alien 3 is about a week too, right? Or even less than that. 5 days. 'Cause they said that the rest is coming in 5 days, right?
But then they bump it up to like.
Yeah. So
yeah.
basically, the first time she saw the alien in her relative clock is 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I don't remember time before you, and I think it's supposed to hit harder than it does because it's like, yeah, but that was 3. I mean, it hits hard because like that's 3 weeks ago to you, but it acts like. I feel like it's more of an emotional truth for the audience where this has been going on for like 20 years at this point, or from the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah.
But it's like in her mind, it's 3 weeks.
This is kind of an odd line.
Yeah. I liked it though. I think it fits into the theme of like the alien being a sexual predator and basically ruining her life. Mm-hmm. So in Alien it ruins her life, in Aliens she gets her life back, in Alien she loses it again. Very nihilistic, this movie. All right, so 60 seconds of awesome stuff. You guys ready for that? We gotta think of a better name of this.
That's fine.
It's certainly
The word
the
nitpick-
name is what it is.
The name is what it is. So I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the clock.
6 seconds of awesome.
Go.
Great to see David Fincher develop his style, and I think he learned a lot from the shoot and went on to become a great filmmaker.
Great music. I love the music.
Speaking of music,
Elliot Rosenthal,
Yeah.
I believe, did the score.
Speaking of music, when the Fox Pomp and Circumstance goes on and it hit that one sour note and turns into a horror thing,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I might love this movie.
That's
pretty
clutch.
great.
Reviving when Ripley's on the beach, the guy revives her with gentle slaps to the face. What? That might be a nitpick, actually. Go ahead.
More great practical effects: the bugs, the ox, and
Yeah, the cow birth. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And then-
that's mine too.
Dylan's just acting,
Yeah.
from just being this to that to
Yeah.
that.
It's like a mixture of Sidney Poitier and Samuel L.
Oh, that's
Jackson.
exactly. He's like, it goes from like Poitier from being very proper and like kind of like intense and emotional to like
Motherfucker!
motherfuckers.
too good.
All of the sets feel very real. I love that. I love how funny this movie can be. I like the used universe. We've mentioned all of these things, but they're so good I want to mention them again.
Yeah, the low angle shots to get to the immense size of how big it's very gothic horror kind of feel to the movie.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, after all the strife, in this assembly cut, they made a watchable film.
Yes, indeed.
They
That was
they polished a turd.
way more than 60 seconds, but it needed it. There's lots to like in this movie. I feel like this movie is way more over with me than I gave it credit for. Also, I like how thematically I feel like this really ties into like the idea of the alien as a sexual monster. I know I've probably said the word sexual monster or some variation of it 10 times already, but I really like that. I do like that. Ultimately, I do like that line, I can't remember a time before you, because it speaks to that. And I even like how when the Wayland, whatever corporation guys come, he promises her a normal life and family, but she knows that she can't go back to that. I mean, it's very nihilistic, and it's, you know, basically the movie's message is like, you can't get over your trauma, just kill yourself. But
Exactly. But there's another thing.
it's just executed very well.
There's another thing that it's because you talk about it being a sexual predator, and the first one it definitely was a sexual predator, and the second one.
Do we want to talk about that in case anyone's not familiar, or no?
I mean, it's a huge penis chasing people.
Well,
impregnating them.
the creature's an egg, which when it opens looks a little vagina-ish.
Yep.
Let's just
when they enter in
Tastefully.
when they enter in through the derelict spacecraft in the first one, the giant openings
Right.
pretty much look like vaginas.
right. I'm talking about the physical.
But I know, but
but I'm saying
the sexual motif.
So then
of
this
the
the facehugger, which is like this weird spidery creature, impregnates you against your will.
Pretty much rapes you.
You know, which is a symbolic rape, right? And then with a symbolic rape in birth is the alien coming out of your chest, right? It's like a birth, but it kills you. And then the alien creature has this big penis head, is kind of like bondage you with no eyes, a mouth within the tongue is a mouth inside of its mouth. The teeth are all sharp, long fingers which are very pointy.
Got to be in close proximity to kill you. Very intimate.
Right, has a
kind of crime.
Right, and then it has like those weird like things that are coming off of its back. The like I don't know what you can call those, but a lot of penis symbology going on.
Symbology.
Yeah. And then in Alien, there's lots of like when the alien kills that woman, like, you know, the tail goes between her legs. There's lots. If you look back on a lot of the kills in the movie, they're very bizarrely, perversely sexual. It's sexuality on screen that in a way that we really don't see it.
Right, but when you get to the
It's Law and Order, Star Wars, SVU Star Wars.
Star Wars SVU.
Maybe that doesn't go over well.
But in Aliens, it's not so much about sexual predation. It's more about protecting. I think it's more about protecting your young and protecting your species because of all the eggs. It's not really because they're all just like killing.
Well,
they're perceiving as a threat to the queen and the eggs. And then the third one, it's like the alien is acting as the guardian almost to Ripley because the alien is protecting her. So it's a weird kind of arc of.
Well, the alien is protecting the queen mother inside.
But it's not going to harm Ripley. It's not going to
harm
harm
her.
her.
do it.
But she's also already been harmed. You know what I mean?
Right. But I think there's not so much of a sexual edge. Well, there is with the inmates and that kind of.
Well, that's the thing is that now you have a literal sexual monster on a planet full of other literal sexual monsters because they're all killers and rapists of women. You know what I mean?
Children.
And children, which is like. We're rooting for these guys. It's fucked up. The craziest part about this movie is that there's a Fox logo in front of it. That's the fucking craziest part of this movie. It's like your heroes are all rapists and this one woman who has been victimized beyond belief. It's crazy. So you want to wrap this up with some? We'll get into this a little bit more with these questions I got. Let's hold for this
Jumbo jet.
jumbo jet.
Aeroplane.
Moment of silence for this jumbo jet. Okay, so we'll wrap this up and then we'll get out of here. Where did the alien's egg come from on the ship?
It's a hot topic among the internet forums.
My guess would be something from the Queen's chamber in Aliens.
Well,
Something
of
like
course.
that.
Right.
I think it's,
That's the only.
It got on the drop ship,
Yeah.
obviously. So maybe it was able to deposit an egg away from its like.
We never see an alien in this series deposit an egg, do we?
no.
We never. We just see them form.
Yeah, we always see them fully formed. We saw in Alien Resurrection, we saw a live birth.
That's true.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But also, this is way off topic, but like, you know, they call it the alien queen, but really it's reproducing asexually. So it really has no gender. It's kind of an interesting thing. Like, we kind of put a gender onto it because it's the surrogate to, not surrogate, but it's the opposite of Ripley. You know what I mean? It's like the just destructive alpha female, and she's like the constructive alpha female. But it's really not a man or a woman.
regardless, the egg, that's really a plot hole in this movie. But, I found watching this cut, didn't fucking matter to me. I didn't care. What do you guys think about the decision to kill Newt and Hicks off screen?
I'm okay with it. I thought it immediately raised the stakes of that story.
Yeah.
And again, puts Ripley on her own, and she can't rely on anybody else except her own wit and wisdom.
Yeah, because in interviews, Sigourney Weaver stated that she defended the decision to kill off Newt and Hicks because she feels that Ripley is a lone warrior and a lone survivor, that she takes care of herself. So I think that it doesn't fit with her character, which, I mean, yeah, I get it, but also maybe if they had Newt and Hicks, it would have been a lot more interesting to have them. But I don't know if on the prison planet that would have been kind of weird because you have like rapists and you have Newt.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked.
That would have had something.
I think I'm glad you said that because I think on paper, killing off Newt and Hicks off screen is a bad idea. Mm-hmm. I do think this cut justifies it with what you're saying, Kev, and I do think like there's not really a way to pull that off in the context of the story they're going to tell, right? The story they're going to tell is the one of hopelessness. So if you have the two people who give her hope there, it's not going to work. And then you kill them off, but then you don't want to be thinking about all this shit with these fucking weirdos around and stuff. So, I mean, I think there's probably another, in a different universe, there's a better Alien 3 with Hicks and Newt in it.
Where they go to Earth or something.
Where they go to Earth or something and it's this huge thing. But this was fine. I think it's ultimately, I've come to terms with it. Do you like the idea that the alien, depending on what it impregnates, it becomes more like that creature? Is that a cool idea or is that lame?
I think that's cool.
I like that idea.
I don't like
Do you remember the action figures that would there was a gorilla alien?
I had that gorilla alien. We talked about this. I just don't fucking. I don't know. I like it being its thing. Like it can impregnate whatever and you'll get this thing. Yeah.
But were these?
I got my ocelot alien.
Were these action figures made and marketed based on a different script? Because remember that the original script where they're going to go to Earth.
I don't know.
So I wonder if
we're
that's
talking about
where they could decide to make these toys based on the script that never was.
I think it kind of came. I mean, we have no way of proving this, so I'll say it without any remorse. Just at the time where, you get, there would be, 10 Batmans in the story. You had, Arctic Batman, Underwater Batman, whatever Batman, and, they kind of fit into things and they kind of don't. I think they're just, whatever, dude. You got Bull Alien, you got Gorilla Alien, you got Slime Alien, you got Ghost Alien, you got
Hicks and Alien Disguise?
Hicks and Alien Disguise. Yeah, none of it made any sense. And everything shoots missiles.
Yep, Alien shoots missiles.
So in the second movie, Ripley gets a family, and in this one, she's absorbed into the aliens' family. They kill Hicks and Newt, her old family, and they impregnate her. You guys think this works? Does this work for the story they're trying to tell?
Yes.
Because now she becomes the mother to the aliens.
Yeah.
Which is a very weird turnaround.
It is very weird.
I think that's a cool addition, though, just because, again, she's never had that personal connection to the alien. It's always that it's this outer creature that is just ruining my life and I need to get rid of it. And now she is impregnated and is, like you said, a part of the alien family now.
And she's seen all these terrible things happen to everyone. She's survived it all, but this is something you can't really survive.
Exactly.
And especially in the context of the company, not really.
The scene when they finally find it in her is pretty harrowing. She's like, no, keep looking.
Yeah.
That's a harrowing.
You don't want her to keep looking, and you don't want them to find anything. But you're whatever you want in this movie. The one thing I respect in this movie doesn't give a fuck. Hey, you want hope? Nope. You don't get shit. I don't give a fuck.
Good.
Like that. So I think we all have the consensus that the thesis of the alien is that it's a sexual predator. We've talked about this a lot. The rape and impregnation thing, blah 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 blah. And then they come to a world full of murderers and rapists who have converted to a fundamental apocalyptic religion that's based on Christianity, I believe. Where it's God will come back and destroy the whole world. Mm-hmm. And Dylan says a lot we're waiting for God to come back and with the righteousness and all this kind of shit.
Was this a test? Was God sending?
I'm getting there. So the quote here is Ripley asks Dylan what they're waiting for. He laughs and says, "We're waiting for God to return and raise His servants to redemption." So it's an interesting parallel here, right? Because they're talking about redemption. They've all killed and murdered and raped men and women and children, and then you have this murderous rapist creature come down, and Ripley is also a temptation because Ripley is so you have the alien, which is an embodiment of them, and you have Ripley, who is arguably the person that they would be victimizing. Instead, the alien victimizes her. So so she brings temptation, and in the representation of the sexual violence the prisoners have sworn off. And so, like, do you think that works? Do you think that's what they're going for here? Do you think?
I think on a level that they wanted these religious themes in it, like temptation and the angel of death coming down and is only is bringing back those righteous. So I guess it's at the end only one guy was righteous. At the end, but we don't really. But it doesn't really make any sense because you never really get an idea of if maybe he is a pure soul, even though he's in this prison. You don't get that, so it's a little hard to swallow that theme or not theme that thinking.
I think that whole thing is a little underwritten in the movie, and I think that's still my issue with the script is the religious overtones and what they're trying to do in it. I feel it's just not. It's sort of there, and then it kind of gets abandoned when the alien comes around, and I don't know. I just felt they didn't quite go far enough if they really wanted those parallels to hit home, personally.
I think part of the nihilism of this movie is that there is no God, there is no religion. It's just this stuff now. These guys are completely delusional. You know what I mean? They've made up this religion to suit their own needs, to deal with their, if you think that they're reformed, it's how they deal with that. But ironically, the alien does fit into the context of their religion, and Ripley does fit in the context of religion in terms of she's their temptation. But I do think that the fact that the coward dude is the only one who lives is arbitrary in terms of indicting their religion, because no one gets saved. It doesn't matter how righteous you are or not. Everyone gets killed. Mm-hmm. The creature doesn't care. So I think the movie is just total nihilism. It's just fucking, you born, you die, in the middle you suffer. Mm-hmm. Do you think Dylan is reformed, the leader of the religion? Because when he first meets Ripley, he's like, "You don't want to know me. I'm a killer and rapist of women." Mm-hmm. But then, she challenges him, and then immediately he's like, "All right, sister." He calls her sister for the rest of the whole movie. And then when everyone else wusses out on fighting the alien, he's like, "Fine, you guys want to sit here? Me and her will fight it." And he attaches to her immediately. Yeah. Also saves her from being raped. And
I mean, maybe it's maybe he was only attacking women who were weak, and he sees that she's not weak, so therefore they're kind of have a bond.
It's possible, but they never talk about these guys'
backstory. They don't dive into that at all, which would make it a lot more interesting if they would have gotten into more of the backstory of some of the more prominent prisoners.
I kind of like how they don't. I kind of like how
it works. It works that way too.
This movie just doesn't. It gives you nothing. You know what I mean? They're just like, you want it? Fuck you. Mm-hmm. That's your problem for wanting it.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. It's your fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. You got anything cover?
I think we covered everything.
Yes, we did.
Assembly cut, great leap from the theatrical version. I still have issues with it. I don't think it's better than the first two by any means. But I think, again, David Fincher did his absolute best with a terrible situation.
What do you think? So we talked about this in the open, and we'll revisit here. So we talked about re-editing, saving a movie. What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think this movie is proof.
We've got Kingdom of Heaven coming up.
Well, see. Well, that we'll see if that's the exception or not. But I mean, this movie. I think is fucking great.
Yeah, a lot of times
it's great.
A movie comes together in editing. That's like the old.
Right. No, I do think that if you want to know what's the difference between good editing and bad editing, and that's not to discount whoever edited the original version, but just the studio demands these changes. You take all this shit out, the movie doesn't work. You put it all back in, the movie fucking. If you don't, at least if you have problems with it, like some of us had problems with it, not me, you guys more, with minor things. Yeah. It's but it is a complete movie. It feels
much more complete.
Yeah, much more envisioned and yeah.
Sometimes more is more in a movie world. Sometimes you add moments to it, and it ties everything that came before it together.
All right. I got two more things to wrap this up. One of them is this series always seems to be Ripley versus the company with a capital C. Mm-hmm. Do you think that that's the best way of telling a story like that? I feel like, you know what I mean? It's one person versus this company, and the company is ruining the whole universe.
is it really her versus the company? I always feel she has to pay for the company's own hubris with this alien and their missions to preserve the alien and not preserve the humans. You know, I like in this world that Wayland Yunti is kind of this sort of big ogre that's in the background. You know, like we don't really know a lot about them and what they do, except they have their fingers in a lot of pies. But I don't know if it's really her versus the company.
Interesting.
I don't know. I just think, it's her paying for their sort of grand hubris, and they're just this big thing in the background that sort of lords over everything. So,
I agree.
All right. So, real quick, it's interesting. It's just an interesting thing because I feel like they're always like the ogre in the background, and I think it's kind of like if you want to tell a story that's bigger, you'd have them affect more people, not just Ripley.
Yeah.
But then if you want to care, it has to be the same character over and over again.
Yeah.
So I have mixed emotions on that, and so it's kind of an interesting thing that this movie we got this movie in the books. It exists, and then Sigourney Weaver came back. She didn't want to do this movie, but then came back to do it, presumably for a payday, and to end it.
She got like $5 mil for that.
Hey,
And then
that's early 90s.
she makes it rain.
Yeah.
She makes it rain.
Yeah, that's 90s money.
Yeah, those are Clinton dollars.
Well, no, technically still
Bush.
still the Bush dollars.
Bush dollar ain't bad.
Not bad.
First Bush.
But then she came back for Alien Resurrection, and now she's gonna come back again. And it's very interesting because we lived in I feel like in the past, no one ever wanted to come back for franchises. Franchises were a dirty word in Hollywood, and nowadays franchises are all the rage. We got this as of this recording. This is the weekend that Mad Max came out, which is a sequel 30 years in the making. And I feel like franchises are hot now, and people want to come back. Kevin Bacon recently said that he wants to come back for a Tremors sequel, which
Really?
historically he never wanted to do. So just an interesting thing.
Yeah, he got way too big for Tremors after the first one. And just
Strongly disagree. No one's bigger than Tremors.
Who do you think you are, Kevin Bacon?
They had to write him out at Tremors.
Also, we gotta talk about Tremors.
he found a good woman. That's what they said.
So it's just an interesting thing. This has nothing really to do with Alien, other than the idea that this franchise is still alive with the Prometheus sequels, with another Alien sequel. I wouldn't be shocked if this Predator sequel that's going to come out is going to involve the Alien franchise in some way eventually. It's just interesting, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Can lightning strike 3 times?
yeah. Well, in the world that we're building now, where in a post-Avengers world, bro, where they want to make the Universal Monsters a franchise, they want to make Robin Hood a franchise like this. I feel like the Alien franchise, it makes sense, right? Like, it's already been done. They already crossed over. They can just do it good this time. I look forward to a good Alien vs. Predator movie.
Well, I think we all do, but I don't know. It's weird because you're mixing 2 different types of predator. Well,
Predators.
literally predators. Yeah.
How dare you?
So it's weird to have that crossover. I mean, I love the Alien vs. Predator video games. It's pretty badass, but to have them in the same.
Maybe we can just adapt the video game. Those usually go well for a while, right?
Video game movies.
Yeah.
Gold mine.
Was it Wing Commander and was it Final Fantasy? Those are good movies, right?
Are you being sarcastic?
You tell me.
Final Fantasy, again, I saw that in theaters when it first came out. Goddamn mess. Goddamn mess. All right, so just interesting. I just wanted to point that out that, we're this franchise, which every time they make a sequel, they're always like, this is going to be the last one. Now, we finally admitted that we're not going to do that anymore. And then the bottom will fall out of this franchising of Hollywood, and then we'll probably have to wait 30 more years. But
yeah, I eagerly / kind of a little hesitant to await the new Alien movie, what they're going to do with it, because I mean, this is going to be Ripley as a 60-year-old woman.
Yep.
But she's in hypersleep.
We'll see, man.
And they don't age in hypersleep, man. So
well, I mean, if they even make this movie, who knows?
They're going to use Benjamin Button's technology to make her younger. She'll
Terminator Genesis style. She'll fight her old self, travel through time. Newt turns out to be an alien.
Bring back Hudson.
Bring back Burke.
That's my one. I know we're not talking about aliens, but that's my biggest complaint. They just had to kill off every good person in the aliens.
But that's a horror. That's a horror thing.
No, but come on, how heartbroken were you when Vasquez and
Hudson, it was.
Yeah,
but I love that moment.
And I guess those only 2 were really actually that great.
Horror, man. It giveth and taketh away.
We just need to bring back Yaphet Kotto. I mean, come on, let's just do that.
Dude, just give him his own movie.
Yaphet Kotto, Ian McShane need to be in every single movie ever made.
And Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. I was about to say Ron Perlman.
Those three, just 2 hours of them battling an alien with their bare hands. I want to see that movie.
I would love it if in the Alien sequel he plays his brother from Alien Resurrection.
Yes.
And then, I don't even need them to be identical twins. We're just brothers, and then no one questions it.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman and everything.
All right. So that wraps it up for Alien 3. See you guys next time. If you want to shout at us, we got a Twitter now.
We do.
Oh, we do. Oh.
Yeah, it's called @SpeakingCinema.
Great.
@SpeakingCinema.
No one took. No one else took. Okay.
No one else took that.
Usually be like
good
the
to
Speaking
know.
Cinema. Usually, someone would take our Twitter handle and we'd have to be at the Speaking Cinema. You have to put the in front.
Or like official Speaking Cinema.
Yeah, it's like we should just name it.
We
that.
got the original Speaking Cinema.
Yeah, Speaking Cinema.
So
Fuck
anyone
yeah.
tries to get that,
Kev came
out of
up
luck.
with that part of the name. Jibber
Nice.
Jabber was my part. Matt, you did nothing, but that's okay.
I'll take credit for it.
All right. You guys want to plug anything?
Go see Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when
Fantastic,
that movie comes out this weekend. It doesn't matter when you're listening to this. If you listen to this in 1,000 years, search back in your holograms and fucking find that movie. It is great.
Get the memory implant of.
Yeah, get the memory implant of Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah. So
And
it's-
Thunderdome.
And Thunderdome. And then, as you're probably not connected to any physical being,
As you are.
have a physical body recreated so you can experience it with human emotion.
Everyone now is a beam of light.
Everyone's not a beam like they can smell colors, so you gotta just see them instead.
Okay.
All right.
In the near future.
So the distant future people, that's your advice. Closer future to that, just go see it in the theater or on home entertainment or whatever. All right.
All right.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a good rest of your time.
Yes.
Yep, on this earth.
Pizzazz chicken. It's like east of the International District. It's west of the Central District. It's like kind of huddled. I think it's in the Central District.
Okay.
It's huddled all in kind of like just in that whole like area where.
I'll remember that next time we see.
That's like the fried chicken that Oprah has flown in
Oh, really?
to Chicago. Yeah, she loves it that much.
Right.
It's like, it's decent. I might have it flown in, but if you ever find yourself in Seattle,
If you're Oprah, Oprah gets what Oprah wants. So,
seriously.
All right, you guys ready?
All right.
so this is Alien.
And also
3,
say
right?
the title of the thing slowly.
Okay.
Yep.
Ready?
Ready.
All right, so opening music. Wow.
That's actually probably not a good idea.
Yeah, we're good. That's some buzz.